How do the Ninja Turtles films rank? What is happening, guys? Back at you with another video. So recently we had the newest release of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. What a mouthful, right? So with the recent release, and I did my review already, it is a time to make a video of ranking all of the theatrical released Ninja Turtles movies. We have a total of 7 movies to rank. So the way I'm going to do this ranking is go from the bottom to the top, but I'm also doing a tier list. So I'll be ranking them from bottom to the top for my actual ranking, and also putting each movie into a tier. The tiers that we have is S tier, A tier, B tier, C tier, D tier, and F tier at the bottom. So basically, y'all know how this goes. The top tier is S tier, bottom tier is F tier, and all the other tiers in between. So, like I said, going to be ranking all these movies going from the bottom to the top, and that is my true ranking, and plus 2 putting them into a specific tier for each movie. So let's go ahead and get into it. And coming in at the bottom for me, a lot of people will probably put this one at the bottom. That's going to be Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3. This is the one from the 90s. And a lot of people will put this one at the bottom. A lot of people say this one is definitely the weakest of the 90s live action movies, and I will have to agree. Now, as a kid, I enjoyed the 90s movies so much, and I did enjoy this one for the most part. As a kid, it was definitely, I could tell as a kid, it was definitely not typically my favorite one to go to and watch. I could tell it was definitely sort of the weakest one out of the bunch of the 90s live action movies. And upon this recent rewatch, although I still get nostalgia from it and could have slight fun with it, it is definitely the weakest out of most of the Ninja Turtle movies. I want to say I caught myself being bored with this one, but it was definitely different things going on with this one. Definitely there was a change in the animatronics. The Ninja Turtles definitely look different. You could tell from the previous 2 90s movies that they definitely did look different in this one. This one just seemed out of sorts, and the whole time travel stuff, although it could seem to work if it had like a better story behind it, it just felt a little flat for me in this movie. But like I said, I can still kind of watch this movie and get a little slight nostalgia out of it. But it's definitely the weakest out of the Ninja Turtles movies. So I gotta place this one into the D tier. Moving on to the next movie on the list, and that's going to be TMNT from 2007. This was the animated movie that they released for Ninja Turtles. And I gotta say, this one is definitely a step up above TMNT 3. I like a lot of things we're able to do with this one, especially when it came to the dynamics and relationship between Leonardo and Raphael. This one really kind of pushed that forward to where we get this, sort of brother rivalry going on. And y'all understand, if y'all have siblings of your own, y'all understand the rivalry that could go on with siblings and all that stuff. And one thing I like about this one, how they push that one, they like really show in the movie, and it's like they show the dynamic between those 2 characters, and really to the point to where it comes to blows in the movie. But fast turnaround, and you see that even though that they were coming to blows and arguing and fighting and stuff like that, you can see right in the next scene that how Leonardo gets captured by the villains. Raphael is having his back, he's trying to save him and all that. So you can see that's one of my favorite parts of the movie, where we get that dynamic between them. And honestly, this one does a good job of capturing those different personalities of the Ninja Turtles and all. But I just think that when it comes to the story and the villains, it just felt a little weaker for me. It didn't live up to everything. But I think that the iterations of the Ninja Turtles themselves, with their different personalities in here, honestly, they did a good job with it. But overall, as a movie, this is not one I typically go back to watch. Like, I recently rewatched it, of course, for this video to do this ranking. But before that, it was years upon years I haven't seen this movie. And it's just a movie that I don't typically go back to. Like, when I want to watch a Ninja Turtles movie, this movie is not the one I typically go to. I can still see some good aspects in this one movie. As a full Ninja Turtles movie, like I said, not one I go back to, but nonetheless, the tier that I would put this one in is going to be C tier. I think it's definitely a step above TMNT 3. So, yeah, this one goes into the C tier. On to the next movie on the list, and that is going to be Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles from 2014. This is the Michael Bay produced TMNT movie, and I think with this movie, it did a lot of good things. I think it did a lot of good things, but it also did a lot of bad things. One of the bad things I think it did with this movie was the way that they had the designs for the turtles in this movie, they were like basically Hulk, like they were like Hulk size basically. They were like able to take out, literally, if you get punched by them or kicked by them, they're probably killing you. Honestly, they were just so huge and all that, and really goes to show like how huge they were that they had to get like this transformer like shredder to actually go up against them and all that, like a robotic sort of shredder. That was like the only way that I was able to take them out. When it comes to other people, like them beating up other people in the movie, they were easily like throwing people, launching people, and all that. Even taking down a full truck down, and even moving shipping crates and all that stuff too. These like, I just didn't like how big they were in this movie. I like lower scale Ninja Turtle size, but these ones were just so huge, and it just threw me off of it really. One of the good things I'll say that they did with this movie was they did sort of capture those personalities a little bit with each turtle. I do have a nitpick when it comes to Donatello. I don't know why they do this, and this is not the only movie or show that they did this in, but they put glasses on Donatello. I don't understand all that. Is it because they're trying to make him look like a nerd or insinuate that he is a nerd and all that stuff, so they just put glasses on him? I don't know how exactly that works out. It was always kind of a nitpick. They do it in other stuff too, but I do not understand. It's just a nitpick. I don't like seeing Donatello in glasses, but that's just a nitpick of mine. But like I said, I think they did a good job of sort of capturing these different personalities, not to a full way, I think, but like they were able to capture those personalities a little bit. And I think this was due to recent reshoots or whatever before the movie actually came out, and the fan outrage and all that stuff. But like Shredder really felt like he was in the background, even not in the forefront. I think it was supposed to be set up to where the Eric Sachs character was supposed to be Shredder, but like fan outrage and all that stuff like that, and they did reshoots, I guess, and they brought in somebody else to become this character Shredder. So like Shredder is basically feels like a background character and not really into the movie until we get him into the final act and all that stuff and all that. But nonetheless, this movie, I enjoy certain things of this movie. I think the song was good. Like when it came to the song, the actual song, Shell Shocked, when we get at the end when they're playing it, that's a good song. I think I have enjoyment out of that song. And I enjoy some other things, some aspects of this movie, but not to fully, get it. But when it comes down to it, I'm going to have to put this one into the C tier also. Does it quite live up to a potential to be a great Ninja Turtles movie? Moving on to the next one on the list, and that is going to be Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows from 2016. I think this one is definitely a step up and an improvement to the 2014 version. I did end up liking this one. When I went to go see this one, I actually did end up liking this one way more than the actual first one. There's definitely some stuff in here that doesn't really match up with how I wanted things, but I think this one does a better job of capturing the different personalities of the Turtles. This one feels a little bit more goofy, and I kind of like the goofy side of Ninja Turtles while also being a little serious at times also, and just being able to have that family dynamic in this one. We finally get a live action Rocksteady and Bebop, which is something I've been waiting for, and they actually did a good job with those characters in this movie. When it came to Shredder, they of course had a new person take on the Shredder role, and I just felt like Shredder felt like this henchman that was a henchman to Krang. Krang appearing in this movie was also awesome to see in a live action form, but when it came to Shredder just felt forced into like being a henchman of sorts to Krang, and just that's not how I want to see Shredder. So although it was cool to see Krang in a live action form and see him in here, Shredder gets pushed to the background, and I just didn't like that much. I did like the inclusion of the Turtle Van. The Turtle Van was pretty awesome in this movie. I did like the inclusion of that. When it comes to Casey Jones, Stephen Amell playing Casey Jones, I like Stephen Amell so much. I especially liked him as Arrow, so it just felt like whenever they announced him that it would be a good fit for him to play Casey Jones, be able to bring that sort of persona that he plays as the Arrow, bring to the Ninja Turtles as Casey Jones. It looked like it was going to be a setup for a good success. But I don't know if it was just the direction, but I could not vibe. I could not vibe with Stephen Amell as Casey Jones in here, and it's not his fault really. It's just, if he was given the direction to play this character a certain way, especially when they made him a police officer, I do not really like that. I don't really like that he is a police officer in the way he's just in here. He tries to be funny and all that stuff, and it's all right, but like still, it's like I couldn't vibe with Stephen Amell as Casey Jones. And like I said, I really like Stephen Amell. I don't even think it's really his fault. It was just the direction he was given probably to play this character. But really, I did not vibe with this Casey Jones, this version of Casey Jones, really. But I did enjoy this movie. Like I said, I think I enjoyed this movie a little bit more than the first 2014 movie. I think they did a lot of better things in this movie and like learn from fans and learn from different lessons from the first movie and able to implement them into this movie. And they did, honestly, not too bad of a job, not too shabby of a job. Still not living up to a full potential great Ninja Turtles movie, but I think this was definitely a step up above the first 2014 version, and I actually did enjoy most things in this movie. So with that being said, I'm going to have to put this one into maybe the B tier, but it's like lower end B tier. So on to the next movie, and that's going to be the most recently released TMNT Mutant Mayhem. I think this does a great job of giving us a actual teenage Ninja Turtles, where they're actual teenagers. They're acting like teenagers. You can see it in the movie, and how they were able to get actual teenagers to voice the characters. It comes across great in the movie. The animation was great overall. Just little spots here and there that was hard to focus on, and just some things looked misshapen and stuff like that. But I could get over it. The animation does look unique, and a lot of people compare it to Spider-Verse, but I think this one is sort of unique in its own way and the way they were able to do it. But like I said, I like the way they were able to show the Ninja Turtles in this movie, where we get the different personalities. I think they could do some tweaking and working on the different personalities, because it feels like most of them do feel like their characters a little bit, but I think there's some tweaking, some things they could do a little bit better with them. Overall, I think when it comes to like Michelangelo and Donatello, I feel like they should like kind of switch roles a little bit. Donatello seemed like he was a little more funnier in this one. And Michelangelo didn't seem like he was up to that sort of party dude role that he usually is known for, and the comedic side and all that stuff like that. It really didn't come across too much of that, but nonetheless, I think this is, when it comes down to it, this is the most teenager-like Ninja Turtles that we've ever gotten in a movie, and it really shows in the movie how teenager they are. Like, they really are some young teenagers. And like I was saying before in my review, we got Splinter and the awkward relationship they have between them, and like it feels more like an authentic sort of dad-teenager relationship. You know, dad with the teenager kids and all that stuff, awkward moments and things like that. They're able to come across in this one. I think inclusion of Superfly as a villain with Ice Cube voicing him, I think does an outstanding job with that. And we have the other characters that come in, the other mutant characters that come in, and they just feel like background characters, really not really getting their own light to shine through and all that. So hopefully in future films we can get that. I don't really know how I feel about what they did with those characters. I wish they would have stayed sort of villains, or at least some of them stay villains and stuff like that. But nonetheless, we'll see how they do that in the future with these characters. Overall, I think this is definitely a great iteration of the Ninja Turtles, and I think that future sequels can do great things, and just with some little tweaks here and there, I think it'd be great additions when we get those in future sequels and all that stuff. A lot of great things and stuff in this movie that I enjoyed. The great soundtrack coming out of this movie also, and just the way that they're able to implement pop culture, the age of pop culture nowadays. And this movie really does set up for a newer generation to make fans of, and it's really more towards the newer generation of kids to actually like these characters and become Ninja Turtles fans themselves. So me as a Ninja Turtles fan, I think it's a great addition to the Ninja Turtle franchise when it comes to being a movie and all that stuff. So this one is going to have to go into the A tier for me. And getting into the top two picks, I probably already knew these were going to be in the top two, and they are probably going to stick in the top two for the foreseeable future. These are my favorite movies. When it comes to Ninja Turtles, these are the movies I go to when I want to watch a Ninja Turtles movie. So coming in at the number 2 spot might be a little surprising, but that's going to be Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles from 1990. This is the first live-action Ninja Turtles movie that we get. And I know a lot of people probably say it's a little darker and more in line with how the comics started out in the very beginning. And I do like this movie so much. I think we get a great Casey Jones out of this movie. I think we're able to get a great sense of the different personalities, the way that the turtles act and all that stuff, and the way that their relationship is with each other. And one of those things I like that they do is that we get this push and pull rivalry going on between Leonardo and Raphael, and we're able to see that in this movie, and being able to have these different personalities get along with each other and be brothers and just see how they interact with each other. Honestly, this movie is great when it comes to just Ninja Turtles and being a Ninja Turtles movie. I enjoy this movie so much. It's definitely one of my go-tos when I'm in the mood to watch a Ninja Turtle movie. This is one of the ones I'm going to go to check out and just enjoy and be able to have that nostalgia with it. Growing up watching these movies, and I enjoy this movie so much. You know, you got great animatronics from the Jim Henson Company in this movie, and you got a great you got a great theme that is recognizable and easy to remember. When I remember, it's been a while since I actually watched the '90s movies, but I was easily able to remember the actual theme when it started to play. I was able to hum along with it and stuff, so it's definitely recognizable and memorable. But this Ninja Turtles movie, I just enjoy, and it just has a sense of nostalgia. And it's definitely, when it comes to Ninja Turtles movies, this is definitely one of my go-tos to watch, and it just has a great iteration when it comes to displaying these characters, Ninja Turtles, on screen. So of course this one is going to go into the S tier, but getting to the top spot, the number one movie, and for me this is my ultimate favorite Ninja Turtles movie, and that is going to be Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: The Secret of the Ooze. This is the number two of the '90s movies. This one is, like I said, my ultimate top favorite Ninja Turtles movie. This one, when I want to watch a Ninja Turtles movie, this is the one I go to the most. I watched this one the most as a kid. This one, when it comes to the characters of the Ninja Turtles, this is my go-to to where this is how I want to see the Ninja Turtles interact with each other. This is how I want to see their personalities come forward. This is how I like to see them when it comes down to it. This one is a little bit more goofy and compared to the first movie, and just the way that the opening fight scene was, and you could tell that this one is definitely going to be a little bit different in tone, and I just like it. I have a sense of nostalgia with this movie. Great animatronics again from the Jim Henson Company. This movie is my ultimate favorite. Like I said, I cannot speak about it enough that this is my ultimate favorite one. Things I like on this one that they do in other movies too, but I think this one does a really good job of it, is the rivalry that we get between Raph and Leonardo really shines in this movie, and you feel that tension between them. And of course, who could forget that phenomenal song, Go Ninja Go, the Ninja Rap song from Vanilla Ice. Still iconic to this day, and just full of nostalgia with this movie. I enjoy this movie so much. I love this movie. I watched it so much as a kid. When it comes down to it, this is the movie I watch the most when it comes to Ninja Turtle movies. This is my ultimate favorite, and of course this one is going to go into the S tier for me. Alright, so when it comes down to it, how would y'all rank the Ninja Turtles movies? If y'all seen the most recent one, Mutant Mayhem, please tell me your thoughts on them down below. But that's going to do it for this video. Hope y'all all enjoyed it. Remember, if you want to be a part of Team Legendary, all you gotta do is subscribe and turn notifications on so you know when I post another video. Hope y'all have an awesome day, and remember, be legendary.